Karma Kevala Bhagavati Samaha Bando Mohe Savarana Mate Bando Mohe Savarana Mate Jahara prasare bhai e bhavaturiya jai Jahara prasare bhai e bhavaturiya jai Krishna prapti ho jaha hote Krishna prapti ho jaha hote Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Kuriya Aikya Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Kuriya Aikya Arna Koriyo Mane Asha Arna Koriyo Mane Asha Shri Guru Charane Rati Ese Uttama Gati Shri Guru Charane Rati Ese Uttama Gati Jai prasare pure sarva asha Jai prasare pure sarva asha Chakshudhan dilo je jamme jame prabhu se Chakshudhan dilo je janme janme prabhu se Divya gyan hriday prakashito Divya gyan hriday prakashito Brahma bhakti jaha hoite avidya vinasha jate Brahma bhakti jaha hoite avidya vinasha jate Verega Jahara Charito Verega Jahara Charito Shiguru Karuna Sindhu Ramajanar Pandu Shiguru Karuna Sindhu Ramajanar Pandu Lokana Lokara Jivana Lokana Lokara Jivana Prabhu Korodoya Deho More Parachaya Ebeja Shushu Chebomana Ebeja Shushu Chebomana Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashata Dashatarine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Saka
Priti Panti Pasyanti Panti Kayanti Chiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jalam Vigrahasya Govinda Adi Purusham Amaham Bhajami 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 Govinda Adi Purusham Amaham Bhajami
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parvirajacharya Ashtatar Shata Shri Shri Madhesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parvirajacharya Ashtatar Shata Shri Shri Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Go Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananti Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem to go Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Mathura Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Tulasi Devi Ki Jai. Yamuna Maya Ki Jai. Ganga Maya Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru Engranga. Lotus feet of our spiritual master, the only way by which we can attain to pure devotional service. I bow to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From him ecstatic prema emanates. By him ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor, and the Lord and master of the devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of your lotus feet. Your fame is spread all over the three worlds. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashoda Nandana Brajadana Ranjana. Yashoda Nandana Brajadana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Nachari. Yamuna Tira Nachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 27. Venkatesh, can you confirm text 23? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. So we're on chapter 27, Understanding Material Nature, and text number 24. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bhukta Bhoga Parityakta Drishta Dosha Cha Nityashaha Na Ishvarasya Ashubham Dhathe Sve Mahimni Stitasya Cha Bhukta Bhoga Parityakta Drishta Dosha Cha Nityashaha Neshwarasya Shubham Dadde Swemahimne Stitasya Cha Bhukta Bhoga Parityakta Drishta Dosha Cha Nityashaha Neshwarasya Shubham Dadhe Swemahimne Stitasya Cha Bhukta Bhoga Parityakta Drishta Dosha Cha Nityashaha Neshwarasya Shubham Dadhe Swemahimne Stitasya Cha. Now we'll go online. We'll need a few moments to get ready. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda share.
Online, anyone can go?
Bhukta Bhoga Parityakta
Now, Haribol, online.
Bhukta Bhoga Parityakta
Bhukta Bhoga Paristatya
Drishta Dosha Cha Nityashaha
Drishta Dosha Cha Nityasha
Neshwarasya Shubham Datte
Neshwarasya Nushbam Datte
Swemahimne Stitasya Cha
Swemahimni Stitasya Cha.
You just have to hold this right here.
Oh, okay.
Since power.
I got it.
Okay. Anyone else online? Okay, in the top room.
Bhukta Bhoga Pratijyakta
Bhukta Bhoga Parityakta
Drishta Dosha Cha Nityasya Cha
Nishta Dosha Chanitya
Nishwarasya Shubham Datte
Neshwarasya Shubham Datte
Swamahimi Stitasya Cha
Swemahimne Stitasya Cha.
What verse are we on? 24. Okay. Bhukta Bhoga Parityakta
Bhukta Bhoga Parityakta
Drishta Dosha Chanityashaha
Drishta Dosha Cha Nityashaha
Neshwarasya Shubham Datte
Neshwarasya Shubham Datte
Swayamahimni Stitasya Cha.
Svamahimne Stitasya Cha. Would anybody else like to chant in the temple? Anybody?
Ukta Boga Parityakta
Bhukta Bhoga Parityakta
Tishta Dosha Chanityashaha
Drishta Dosha Chanityashaha
Neshwarasya Shubham Date
Neshwarasya Shubham Date
Sve Mahimni Stitasya Cha
Svamahimne Stitasya Cha
Bhukta Bhoga Parityakta
Bhukta Bhoga Parityakta
Drishta Dosha Cha Nityashaha
Drishta Dosha Chanityashaha
Nishvarasya Shubham Date
Neshwarasya Shubham Date
Svamahimini Stitasya Cha
Svamahimne Stitasya Cha. Okay. Bhukta, enjoyed. Bhoga, enjoyment. Parityakta, given up. Drishta, discovered. Dosha, faultiness. Cha, and. Nityashaha, always. Na, not. Ishvarasya, of the independent. Ashubham, harm. Dhatte, she inflicts. Swamahimne, in his own glory. Sthitasya, situated. Cha, and. Translation. By discovering the faultiness of his desiring to lord it over material nature, and by therefore giving it up, the living entity becomes independent and stands in his own glory. Purport. Because the living entity is not actually the enjoyer of the material resources, his attempt to lord it over material nature is, at the ultimate issue, frustrated. As a result of frustration, he desires more power than the ordinary living entity, and thus wants to merge into the existence of the supreme enjoyer. In this way, he develops a plan for greater enjoyment. When one is actually situated in devotional service, that is his independent position. Less intelligent men cannot understand the position of the eternal servant of the Lord. Because the word servant is used, they become confused. They cannot understand that this servitude is not the servitude of this material world. To be the servant of the Lord is the greatest position. If one can understand this and can thus revive one's original nature of eternal servitorship of the Lord, one stands fully independent. A living entity's independence is lost by material contact. In the spiritual field, he has full independence, and therefore there is no question of becoming dependent upon the three modes of material nature. This position is attained by a devotee, and therefore he gives up the tendency for material enjoyment after seeing its faultiness. The difference between a devotee and an impersonalist is that an impersonalist tries to become one with the Supreme so that he can enjoy without impediment, whereas a devotee gives up the entire mentality of enjoying and engages in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. That is his constitutional glorified position. At that time he is Ishvara, fully independent. The real Ishvara or Ishvara Parama, the Supreme Ishvara or Supreme Independent, is Krishna. The living entity is Ishvara only when engaged in the service of the Lord. In other words, transcendental pleasure derived from loving service to the Lord is actual independence. By discovering the faultiness of his desiring to lord it over material nature, and by therefore giving it up, the living entity becomes independent and stands in his own glory. Bhukta bhoga parityakta drishta dosha cha nityashaha neshvarasya shubhang date sve mahimne stitasya cha. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you for being here. So today we're continuing the instructions of Lord Kapila Dev, and here he describes that Bhukta bhoga parityakta, given up, bhukta, enjoyed the enjoyment, bhoga ishvarya prasaktanam maya chetasam. When one is too much absorbed in material enjoyment, they cannot take to the vyavasayatmika buddhir. They cannot actually take to their intelligence is actually many branched. And it's discussed in the Srimad Bhagavatam that the lusty intelligence of the living entity whose intelligence is propelling one to choose material sense gratification instead of service to Krishna is actually called a prostitute. So the material intelligence means our intelligence is like a prostitute. And she's wondering, okay, will he give the money? Will he be my customer? Will he be my customer? Similarly, the material intelligence is always choosing that which gives pleasure to the senses without recognizing that Ishvara Parama Krishna, that Krishna is the actual owner and proprietor and independent person, not me, right? Actually, Isha Vasya Sarvamidam. If we understand that Krishna is the proprietor of everything, then we're actually thieves when we try to enjoy matter. And unfortunately, this thieving mentality lingers on for some time within the subtle body. And the mirror of our heart is covered with dust. Cheto dharparamarchanam. But luckily for us, Mahadguna, that there is actually one amazing quality about Kali Yuga, which is that simply by chanting the Lord's holy names, one can cleanse one's heart. Cheto dharpana marjanam. You can cleanse the heart with this process. Now, intellectually, if one is sumedasa, if one has a little bit or sufficient or proper brain substance, medasa. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, of women I am, do you know it? Fortune, fame, speech, memory, and intelligence. So intelligence is this one, medasa. So the same word is actually used in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which states that if one has sufficient intelligence in the Kali Yuga, then they actually take to worshipping the Supreme Lord through the process of Sankirtan Yajna, along with the Lord's associates, which are his weapons. So, medasa. So we have to have sufficient intelligence. One thing that's very interesting is that in spite of suffering like anything, getting whipped by Maya time and time again, our intelligence is still contaminated. Actually, it's stated that lust is situated within the senses, within the mind, and within the intelligence. And these are the sitting places of lust within the material body of the living entity. And We have to know where the enemies are if we want to have any hope to defeat them in battle. So our intelligence is actually contaminated. So we have to bathe our intelligence in the transcendental vibration of the Vedas. Then the mind can be fixed on devotional service. If our intelligence is contaminated and we think that I am this body, aham mameti, then what's going to happen? Then if my intelligence is contaminated by the false ego, right? If it's not informed to my real identity, if I haven't heard Atma Tattva Gyan, if I haven't actually heard from the spiritual master, Divya Gyan, Hriday Prakashito, my heart is actually illuminated by the Gyan, transcendental knowledge given by the spiritual master. Chakshudhan Diloje, Janme Jame Prabhu say, he has actually opened my eyes and he is my Lord birth after birth. Because he has actually enlightened me. And that's why these books are so important, because everybody is thinking that they are this body and they're suffering, but they actually think they're happy. This is the power of Maya. We think that we're independent, but we're actually dependent upon at every moment. We can actually be independent when we become a servant. Now, Prabhupada made a cool point in this purport that says, people in this material world, this modern life, if they hear the word servant, they think, no, that's not me. I'm the boss. I'm not a servant. I'm the big boss. Big boss never take a loss. Something like that, right? We think like that. But no, being servant is actually my independent nature. If I'm actually servant to the right people, so say you are a big boss, right? Still you're servant to your senses. Doesn't matter how much money you make, you're still going to have to put something in your belly at the end of the day. You're servant to your money. You're servant to your dependence. What to speak of actually being dependent upon the material nature, dependent upon the resources of nature. That's where money is coming from, actually. That's where wealth is actually developed, through harnessing the resources of material nature. If you want to do business in jewelry, then you have to do mining. Then you extract the jewels and gems from the mountainsides and from the rivers and so on and so forth, and you collect these and then you process them with various technologies. How do you process them? You have to have tools. Where do you get the tools? You have to do more mining, and you have to get the materials, and then you have to blacksmith, and you have to develop the tools. We take it for granted because we never see any manufacturing. It's very, very interesting that in a modern US society, we see zero manufacturing and we have so many different paraphernalias, which we never see being constructed. I have no idea. I don't see anything being constructed, neither I see any food being grown, what to speak of animals being slaughtered. I'm completely left in the darkness, and you just say, don't worry, just keep consuming, keep consuming. You just go to Amazon, order it up, easy peasy. We have no idea what's happening to make these batteries, to make these ingredients. What is happening somewhere else? We have no conception. How do they bring all of these things? And in every single home, what happens? Trash is coming out like an ocean, like a river. Trash, like this, everywhere. And then we just put it in a hole over there. Anyway, we're not independent of the laws of nature and the materials of nature. We need this. How do I make this microphone? I need all the technologies, I need all the materials, then I can assemble it. But we should never think that we're the proprietor, even though we are the assembler. You know? Just like an amazing garland for Lord Krishna, Gaur-Nitai. How can I claim to be the proprietor even though I simply assembled the wonderful flowers? It's not possible for me to make a garland. Nowadays they're actually manufacturing plastic garlands, mass producing them. And they're very, very elaborate. But such plastic garlands cannot be comparable, actually, to the fresh, soft, fragrant flowers assembled with love and devotion for the Lord. Such plastic flowers cannot compare. So, okay, if we remain a servant of Krishna, then we're independent. This is our glorified, independent position. This is our constitutional position. And this is stated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his instructions to Sanatana Goswami. He tells him that the living entity is actually the eternal servant of Krishna. And we're actually the Tatashta Shakti, and we're currently in our conditioned state, we're under the material nature, and under our liberated state, we're under the spiritual nature. And the great souls, the Mahatmas in the Bhagavad Gita are described. They're under the shelter of the divine energy. They're under the shelter of actually Srimati Radharani. And they're always chanting the Lord's glories. And this is the safest place in the material world. Kirtan Ras. If we're always absorbed in glorifying Krishna, there'll be no chance for us to be contaminated by material nature. This is very interesting. Very, very interesting. We can try to become free from material nature. And if we're intelligent, we'll try. But that's the same thing that the impersonalists are doing. They want to be free from material nature. They want to be superior to material nature. And what happens? After they suffer frustration because they cannot be free from material nature, then what happens? He desires more power than the ordinary living entity and thus wants to merge into the existence of the supreme enjoyer. In this way, he develops a plan for greater enjoyment. So, we are not impersonalists. We're not simply concerned with getting free from material nature. Instead, we're interested to please Krishna. We want to become subordinate to Krishna. We want to become a servant of Krishna. And what is the qualification of a servant? Qualification of a servant in this Kali Yuga specifically is to engage in Sankirtan. If we glorify Krishna, and we glorify Krishna together, that's actually the essence of servitude in the Kali Yuga, because that's the Yuga Dharma. What is my Dharma? My Dharma is actually service. And the Yuga Dharma is Sankirtan Yagya. So servitude, I'm situated in my servitude if I'm always situated in glorifying Krishna. Now, there's different ways to bring glory to Krishna, but the essence of such processes is to chant the Maha Mantra with love and devotion and attention. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If we do this very, very seriously, if we take our japa very, very seriously, then we'll have something to give when we do Sankirtan. Means we'll do it selflessly. There's a consciousness that Prabhupada warned us against, which is that if we are not spiritually strong by taking seriously, first and foremost, our japa, right, and our hearing of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, then what will happen? We will take the service of the Shri Vigraha and we'll call it Galagraha. 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 That means a weight on the neck. Like a big weight on the neck. A burden. We'll take the service to the deity which can manifest itself in a list. Isn't it? Sometimes the service to the Lord can manifest as a list of to-dos. And that is true. But how do we associate with that list of to-dos? Do we associate with that list of to-dos with gratitude? Do we associate with that list of to-dos as Krishna is blessing me with so many service opportunities, and He is actually empowering me to do these things? Without His mercy, I will not be able to do them, much less do them properly. Are we associating with them dependent on His mercy? Are we associating with them in a begrudging mood? The to-do list. Oh, I have to do this. Oh, I have to do this. Oh, we have to do that. So the point I'm trying to make is, by taking very, very seriously our japa, which starts with proper pronunciation and trying to do it early in the morning in association with devotees, bringing the mind back to the sound. Right? The higher levels of chanting will manifest automatically if we take very seriously just to hear the Maha Mantra. It has 32 syllables. Has 32 syllables. We just try to chant it and listen to ourselves chanting sincerely. Because we actually call out to Krishna for help. We're actually calling out to Him personally. It's not a mechanical thing. We know He's listening. We're actually calling to Him, just like we call to our mommy. Say somebody's walking down the hallway and you need something from them. One Prabhu is going out of the door down the hallway out of the temple, but you need the keys. He has the keys in his pocket. You say, Prabhu, 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 because you don't want to waste any time. He's going to leave and you don't know if you'll find him again, then you'll have to go running after him. So you're calling after him, Prabhu, Prabhu. Why don't we call after Krishna like this? But instead of, it's funny because sometimes we call after our Prabhu as if he's my servant. But actually I'm his servant. Prabhu means master. So actually I'm his servant. I want to live my life in such a way that he is never inconvenienced, but his service for Krishna is exalted and glorified and supported. That's what it means, Prabhu. So what is the quality of our call to Krishna? That's up to me. That's called sincerity. That's up to me. Am I actually begging to Krishna to give me devotional service and to purify my heart? So we can do this self-analysis. We can actually see, okay, how was my session? Was I actually calling to Krishna? Was I personally present with Him during that time? Or was I spaced out thinking about so many other things? The checklist. Was I thinking about the checklist? So if we do our chanting, hearing and chanting very nicely, then we bring transcendental consciousness to the Sankirtan. We bring transcendental consciousness to the glorification of Krishna with the other devotees. And what happens? That's electrifying. And that means we have some potency to invite others into the Sankirtan. And when others join the Sankirtan, then the Guru Parampara and Lord Krishna and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are exceedingly pleased. And they will give blessings to go deeper in our personal hearing and chanting. And like this, it's actually a cycle. So we have our personal practice, Nam Japa, and we also have Harinam Sankirtan. And like this, they feed each other and they develop more and more and more and more. And we know all of our various services, if we've chanted very properly and heard 32 syllables and really gave our attention to Krishna's holy names and really begged Krishna for service, when we do services, those services are Sankirtan, if they've been given by the Guru Parampara. Washing the dishes is Sankirtan. Why? Because we're going to actually use those for preparing beautiful bhoga for Lord Krishna. And then the devotees will take prasadam. Chanting, dancing, and feasting. That's Sankirtan. That's the Sankirtan Yagya. You know? How are people going to chant and dance if we don't give them any prasadam? They'll go somewhere else. You know? Now, sometimes we can get somebody to chant and dance, but you know, if we really want them to stay, then we say, don't worry, we'll give you prasadam too. You can eat, you don't have to go home, you can have dinner. Oh, you want, now is breakfast, here, have some prasadam. You can stay also again. You can stay again. And like that. If you want somebody to stay, you feed them. If you want somebody to leave, you stop feeding them. Then say, hey man, where's my food? I guess I better go. Anyway, okay, so the difference between a devotee and an impersonalist is that an impersonalist tries to become one with the Supreme so that he can enjoy without impediment, whereas a devotee gives up the entire mentality of enjoying and engages in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Kama Sankalpa Varjita is from the Bhagavad Gita. There's many verses in the Gita, as we heard yesterday, 271. One who is actually free from the desire of enjoying this material nature. Such a person, only such a person can experience peace. Not he who tries to satisfy all those desires that rush in just like the rivers to the sea. You know? So we have to understand, Krishna is the enjoyer. Bhoktaram yagyatapasam. He is the enjoyer, and if we can intellectually understand this, what happens? We see it's futile, it's faulty to try to enjoy this material nature because I'm spirit, I can't do it. And we mentioned it many times in the 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it's stated, Na teshu ramate buddha. In that material enjoyment which has a beginning and end, the Buddhas, they do not try to enjoy. They do not relish in that type of enjoyment. Na teshu ramate Buddha. Ramate, to enjoy, right? Raman, Radha Raman. The one who enjoys Radha. Who is that? That's Krishna. So, Radha, Sita, Lakshmi, Bhumi, none of it's for me. None of them are for me. None of this material nature is for my pleasure. They're all for Krishna and Krishna's expansion's pleasure. So we have to get really serious about this point and seriously discharging devotional service. This influence can be removed by seriously discharging devotional service. Okay, thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Would anybody like to add anything? Jagannath Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I just want to add something to the point that you were talking about earlier about Japa Yajna and Sankirtan Yajna. Actually, I was listening to a lecture by Amarendra Prabhu, and he was saying in his talk that it was like, I think the title of the video was Taking Shelter of the Holy Name. And he said that actually Kirtan is more important than Japa, because Kirtan is it's liberating everyone, like the bacteria, the microbes on the floor, the trees, other people around us, and so many other things. But japa is more for ourselves. And he was also saying that Ayendra Prabhu, I think he said Ayendra Prabhu said both of these comments or statements. But one thing that he said was that japa is like taking medicine daily, like taking a tablet for a sickness, and kirtan is like getting an injection for the sickness. So I just wanted to say that, and I just want to encourage everyone to take up kirtan as seriously as possible, because actually it's the answer to all problems. So yeah, I just wanted to make that statement. That's it.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. All glories to some devotees.